Think back to the most iconic decks in the history of Magic the Gathering. One of the most famous, Dragonstorm, but the real MVP of that deck was actually Pyromancer Swath, and today we're playing it in Modern. Let's go check it out. I am so excited to be playing Pyromancer Swath today in Modern. This is a card that I have fond memories of as a kid playing that legendary Dragonstorm deck in Standard, but today we're playing it in Modern, and we have Milan to thank for that. Milan, thank you for supporting the channel. I really do appreciate you. So Milan's idea is that this is a Storm Combo deck where you create mana using cards like Strike It Rich, Desperate Ritual, and Pyretic Ritual, and then either for Storm 6 or 7, you would play Pyromancer Swath into Grapeshot. So when your opponent is at 18, Storm 6 Grapeshot wins the game, assuming that Pyromancer Swath is Storm 5. And if they're at 20 or above, then Grapeshot would need to be Storm 7, but it greatly reduces the amount of Storm you need to create in order to win the game, which makes this card really interesting. A nice aspect of this deck is that there's absolutely no creatures. So Solitude, Fatal Push, whatever, Orcish Bowmasters, it does not matter, making this deck really resilient to the most common removal in the format, and I love that. So what I don't love, and Milan, this is not a dig on you, I'm just really skeptical, we're a 12 land deck that then has 4 copies of Spikefield Hazard. So it's really a 16 land deck with 8 cantrips, with 4 Preordain, 4 Sleight of Hand. In the past, I've played 17 lands in Gift Storm with 10 cantrips. So I'm a little bit worried that today we might be tight on mana. I hope it doesn't happen, but that is my one concern with the deck. But I hope everything goes smoothly, and let's find out if it does. Milan, thank you again for supporting us. I really do appreciate it. So without any further ado, let's head on in. I can talk to match number 1. I hope to see you there. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, early access to videos, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, sideboard guides, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, like theepicstorm.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicstorm.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Match number 1, we're on the play with Pyromancer Swath combo. I love it. Our opponent has revealed a Jegantha the Wellspring. This hand seems great, we will keep. Our opponent is mulliganed to 3 cards in Modern. So I'm guessing that they're on Tron. We find a Spikefield Hazard and a Dual Strike. I'm going to bottom the Hazard and keep the Dual Strike past the turn. And it's looking like Tron, Ancient Stirrings. They find an Urza's Power Plant. I'm going to Preordain. I think we want both of these. I'm going to play the Spikefield Hazard as a land past the turn. I think at this point I'm just looking for Grapeshot, and then we have everything we need to win the game. So they played a Chromatic Sphere and then cycled it immediately, but didn't end up using the mana. I'm going to foretell this Dual Strike, and then we can Sleight of Hand. Guess I'll take another Dual Strike. Don't really need land number 4. Okay, so they're going to have Tron next turn. I need a Grapeshot. They're going to use the map immediately. We draw another Ritual. So I can deal them 15 damage right now, but 15 damage is not enough to win the game. So I am going to foretell another Dual Strike. They have Tron. They have 3 cards in their hand. The One Ring. Okay. That's not good for us. So I can't kill them now. I would have to wait a turn. They play a Chromatic Star. And then they're going to cycle the star immediately. They put Jegantha to their hand. I'm going to hang on to the Spikefield Hazard. So that's 18 damage we have now. I'm 2 damage short of winning. So if they pass the turn here, I can count on the One Ring to kill them. But I would need them to not interact with my lands. And I would also need them to not play Karn the Great Creator into Trinisphere. So there's a chance here we lose to the mulligan to 3 in Modern. They play Chromatic Sphere. Golos. That's spicy. 5 mana. And they play Jegantha. Okay, it's our time. I don't even know if I have enough mana to do everything I want to do this turn, but We have to try. Oh, well, we found the Grapeshot. Nothing matters. Okay. So, we'll start on Pyretic Ritual. And now we'll splice Desperate Ritual. We will play the Dual Strike. And now we will Dual Strike again. This copies. Play a Desperate Ritual. So now this will copy twice. A whole bunch of mana. We'll play Pyromancer Swath. Lightning Bolt them. So this will deal them 5. Strike Field Hazard will deal them 3. And now Grapeshot will deal them 27. I mean, this was kind of cool. It took a little bit to set up, but it was very cool. I'm worried that it took our opponent mulliganing to 3 and we almost lost. Like, if they had a card in the Great Creator, we would have lost that game. But we managed to get game number 1. I like that. Let's bring in our Blood Moons. I am less confident in Lightning Bolt in this matchup. I understand that it deals 5 damage, but I don't think that's what this matchup is really about, so I'm going to side those out. And then maybe an Echoing Truth. Let's try this. Game number 2, we're on the draw. Our opponent has revealed their Gigantha again, and we've opened up just Spikefield Hazard as our land with 2 blue cantrips we can't cast. Double Pyromancer Swath is really awkward, which makes this hand essentially already a mulligan. I'm going to just send it back. And this hand is so much better. We will keep this. Put one of these Swaths on the bottom. Our opponent ended up going to 5 cards and plays Urza's Mine and Chromatic Sphere. Steam Vents. I'm going to fetch a basic here, and then Sleight of Hand. I'll take Strike It Rich. Pass the turn. Ancient Stirrings. They find Karn the Great Creator. Okay. Pressure is on. They don't have Tron. Well, they don't have the second piece of Tron. Let's fetch again. And I'll just grab a Steam Vents this time. I don't need them to think about Blood Moon. Sleight of Hand. We will take the Grapeshot. And let's Sleight of Hand again. Double Dual Strike. I don't really have a choice there. Pass the turn. They use Expedition Map. They find a Power Plant. And another map. So they're going to have Tron next turn. Pyretic Ritual. I don't have the mana to win right now. Or at least I don't think I do. So let's just play the Steam Vents untapped. I feel like that's kind of free to do. So I think I can deal them 18. I can't deal them lethal. So I'm 1 spell short. Because we have 6 cards, I can cast all of them with good sequencing. If I could flashback Strike It Rich, I'd have lethal, but I don't have enough mana for that. So let's just talk through this. We could Pyretic Ritual, Dual Strike, copy Desperate Ritual, and that would give me 6 mana. I could Strike It Rich. I'm 1 mana short of being able to flashback Strike It Rich. So I just have to foretell the Dual Strike and pass the turn. They use the map. They find Urza's Tower. So now they have 5 mana. They can play Karn the Great Creator and then get a 1, but instead they play Chromatic Star. And there's the Karn. They could get like a Tormod's Crypt here, but we don't actually use our graveyard, so I don't care about that. They grab a Liquid Metal Coating. Expressive Iteration. That is a little awkward, but I think it's ultimately going to be fine. So we will start by foretelling, or using the Dual Strike off foretell. We'll play Pyretic Ritual. So now we have a bunch of red mana. That's a Desperate Ritual. Strike It Rich. Use the Strike It Rich for... Hold on. Oh, I can't use the... Did I just punt? I forgot about Karn shutting off the treasure. That's really awkward. I might have just thrown this game. Alright, we'll play the Pyromancer Swath. Okay, so... That is so unfortunate. I'm going to have to kill the Karn the Great Creator. And then target them with the rest. Well, I guess it turns on my treasure, so I can play Expressive Iteration. But I'd have to take a land off it. Because I'm going to discard it to the Swath. So is it worth burning the treasure to maybe hit a land? I don't think so. I'm going to just pass the turn. Now I wish I had a Lightning Bolt in my deck, because Lightning Bolt would be lethal. Our opponent with all the mana in the world. There's definitely a way to sequence that turn where I could have won with Expressive Iteration had I remembered. Oh, and we're just definitely dead to the Ulamog here. Yeah, okay. We'll go to the next game. Alright. Yep, I just threw that. Let's try it again. On the play. Sure, I mean, we don't have the Swath, we don't have any mana, but triple cantrip can do a lot. I really hope my misplay doesn't cost me this match. I mean, the deck was good enough to win, I just wasn't. But we're going to try to play tight this round, or this game. Island Preordain. I think we want both of these. The free Storm from Manamorphose is just really valuable. Turn 1, Power Plant into Chromatic Sphere. We will fetch. Go to 18, grab a Steam Vents. Sleight of Hand. Let's take the Ritual. Sleight of Hand. So, tough call. Do you take the Blood Moon or do you put the Swath on the bottom here? I think it's the Blood Moon. They play Tower and Sylvan Scrying. So they're going to have Tron next turn. I'm going to burn the Pyretic Ritual and Blood Moon. Pass the turn. Alright, so no green mana, not yet. They put Jegantha to their hand. Let's play an Expressive Iteration. So one of these goes to our hand. We'll take a Desperate Ritual. We'll put Pyretic Ritual on the bottom, Blood Moon to exile. Pass. They found a basic forest. Karn the Great Creator. They're going to be able to blow up my island on their turn. They choose Haywire Might, so they're going to blow up my Blood Moon. Expressive Iteration. Manamorphose to hand. Striker Rich on the bottom. We can play Scalding Tarn. They play another Urza's Tower. Chalice of the Void. Yeah, I can't beat Chalice of the Void. Chalice of the Void on 2 is easily good game. Karn the Great Creator rooting my life in every format. Yep. Oh, they chaliced on 1. Okay. We're going to play another Karn the Great Creator. And they choose Liquid Metal Coating. They could play it this turn, but they're choosing to leave their Urza's Mine untapped. Which probably means that they have something like a Warping Whale. We'll fetch... Well, there's the Swath. The problem is I don't have a Grapeshot. Let's Manamorphose. This will be Storm 1. We'll do Blue-Red. Dual Strike. Play Dual Strike. Actually, I think it might be better to copy Manamorphose. So if I copy Manamorphose, it's a break even on mana. It gives me another look at Grapeshot. We'll play Desperate Ritual. We'll cast the Dual Strike. Now we'll Manamorphose. We get 2 draws here. Red, red. Okay, if we can find like a Desperate Ritual, I think we have this, even through the Warping Whale. Red, blue. Another Dual Strike. So Dual Strike doesn't help me here. And fun fact, Dual Strike does not copy Grapeshot. If you're watching this going like, just copy your Grapeshot, it would copy a single instance of Grapeshot, not the Storm mechanic. So Storm 5, Pyromancer Swath. Storm 6, Grapeshot is only 18. And the Striker Rich would be countered by Chalice of the Void. I could try to Expressive Iteration into land plus Ritual. That would be the out here. And we would need it to not be countered by Warping Whale. So here goes nothing. Expressive Iteration. And they have the Warping Whale. Yep, I mean, I felt like this was telegraphed, but I didn't have a choice based on what we drew into. I mean, we drew some pretty good cards. Pyromancer, Swath, Grapeshot. Those were all things we wanted. I think I just have to Grapeshot and kill the Karn. 1, 2, 3, and then the rest go at them. So they have Jegantha, Liquid Metal Coating, and 3 unknown cards in their hand. Karn Liberated. Exile my Echoing Truth. And a Jegantha, sure. Alright, so we do have a single copy of Past in Flames in our deck. That is probably my out to win this game right now. Even if they exile the land, we could... And I probably should have given them the Striker Rich last turn and not the Echoing Truth. But even if they exile land here, and then I drew the Past in Flames, we would just flat out win the game. But we only have 1. So odds are not in our favor. They attack for 5, it'll go down to 10. Liquid Metal Coating, sure. They have 1 card in their hand. Spikefield Hazard. That does not help me here, so we're just going to pass. They exile another card, so Spikefield Hazard down. They have lethal next turn. Jegantha attacking for lethal, that is. Ugin the Spirit Dragon. They put me to 2. So Manamorphose is our best draw. That would be the card that we want to draw here, other than Past in Flames. Past in Flames flat out wins. Manamorphose gives us a chance. I don't know if this will do it, but let's try it. Pyretic Ritual. We'll now play the Dual Strike. We just need insane reveals off this Expressive Iteration. Okay, so here's the first one. Grapeshot is good. Put the Hazard on the bottom, Preordained. So I don't think we have enough mana that we could possibly reveal here. Yeah, even if I hit Ritual, we can't win. This Preordained needed to be mana. And there's the Past in Flames, but it's way too late. And we are dead. So I could Grapeshot the Gigantha, but then I'm dead to Ugin the Spirit Dragon. So they got me. Looks like my misplay in game number 2 cost me the match. Unfortunate. Milan, I'm sorry that I'm not very good at this game, but we're going to try to play better and hopefully win match number 2. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, Scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. Alright, that was tough, but we're going to try to bounce back in the second match. Here are the Orphan Guard. Okay, we will try this. So one initial thought that I do have in this one match sample, and this isn't because I punted, I promise. I kind of feel like Expressive Iteration is really expensive in this deck, and it would almost be better as just like 4 copies of Consider or Opt or Serum Visions that can help you find your early land drops, but also just find your Pyromancer Swath. We'll take the Strike It Rich. Blooded Strand. Opponent's already at 17. I love that. Preordain. We put 2 cards on top. I love that. Not as much. We draw a Dual Strike. Okay. I will shock and let's suspend or foretell, whatever you want to call it, this Dual Strike. They play a Polluted Delta, and it looks like they're passing. I'm just going to play a Steam Vents and pass. So a card we do need to be worried about in this matchup is Leyline Binding. You can't really rely on your Swath being there when Grapeshot resolves. So use the Scalding Tarn immediately. Teferi? Yep. I admittedly don't know how Teferi works with Foretell. I imagine that it still works, but I don't know. There's the Swath. The problem is we don't have any mana. So I'm going to Expressive Iteration. We'll put Ritual to hand, Ritual on the bottom, exile Expressive Iteration, and then I can cast the Expressive Iteration this turn, but it only puts a card to my hand. And then we'll cast it, we'll take the extra land, put Sleight of Hand on the bottom, Polluted Delta gets exiled. Pass the turn. They play a Scalding Tarn plus the Teferi. Come on, tap out for Omnath. Narset, Parter of Veils. Okay. They find a Preordain. Let's see if they cast it. No, they're not going to cast Preordain. And another Grapeshot. Okay. Well, let's find out if Foretell works. Looks like it does. Okay, we will pay 2 life. I go to 14. Desperate Ritual. It is copied by Dual Strike. Let's attempt a Pyromancer Swath. And if they force a negation that, it's honestly fine. Now we'll Lightning Bolt them and Grapeshot them. Sweet. Looks like we've taken game number 1 from the dedicated control deck. I don't know how I feel about Blood Moon versus these decks. I think I'm going to try it. Take out the Lightning Bolt. I have a feeling I'm supposed to board in the Pact of Negations. If I want to board in the Pacts, am I not supposed to bring in the Blood Moon then? I just don't know. Alternatively, you could take out Expressive Iteration. Or shave on them at least. And then like maybe 1 Strike It Rich. Alright, I'm sure I'm sideboarding wrong, but this is what I'm going to do. Double Swath. So this is essentially a really good mulligan to 6. I mean, I'm not happy with Double Swath, but I think that this hand is fine. When I originally saw the deck list and saw that there was only 3 copies, I was like, there should probably be a 4th in there, but I'm not going to change somebody else's deck list. And now I'm sort of seeing why. You never want 2 of this card, ever. 3 is the perfect number. I think that the All right, so I like the deck, and I really do mean that. I think my issue with this deck is I think you just want a bunch of like 1-mana cantrips. And if you're going to do that, I don't think you're allowed to play Spikefield Hazard. I think that you're supposed to just like play regular lands and have Lightning Bolts and Grapeshots as your answers to things. Play the Sleight of Hand. Guess we'll take the Grapeshot. Preordain. They put 2 cards on the bottom with Preordain. We'll play the Spikefield Cave past the turn. They have land number 3. Narset. So we can no longer draw cards. So Sleight of Hand gets around that, which is really nice, but Manamorphose does not. They found Counterspell. If I drew a Desperate Ritual, I don't think we could even do anything, so it doesn't matter. We would need them to tap out again on the following turn. So Expressive Iteration getting around Narset is pretty nice here, I will admit. We'll put the Strike It Rich to hand. I don't think I need the Past in Flames this game. And then we'll play the Scalding Tarn. Fetch. Grab the... I guess I can grab a Steam Vents. I don't think our life total is under any pressure here. Play a Strike It Rich. Pass. They have land number 4. They find a Teferi Time Raveler. And they don't play Teferi. So we know that they have Counterspell. I think playing into like Counterspell right now, because if they have double interaction, I lose with this Pact Negation. So I'm going to be a little bit more conservative here and just make mana and pass the turn. Okay. They have land number 5. So now they have Teferi plus Counterspell if they want it. It looks like they're going to. Alright, so this Pact Negation I drew is now useless. I shouldn't have F6'd. I have even done this in a previous video before and been punished. Yeah, because I hit the F6 key, so I could have made their draw ability off of the Teferi Fizzle. And instead I hit F6 like a dummy. My apologies. That was just poor play on my part. Alright, let's Strike It Rich. That was bad. Pass the turn. They plus Teferi and play Preordain. They're passing with 7 cards in hand. We have 8 mana currently. Make that 9 mana. I think we need a higher storm count if we want to win this, so I'm going to pass. Another Grapeshot would be one of our best draws. They plus the Teferi again. The One Ring. So I can't kill them this turn. They draw a card using the One Ring. Another Ritual. They activate the One Ring. They play another copy of the One Ring. Sure. They gain protection again. I have to wait another turn cycle. I think our opponent forgot to use their Teferi. Oh, they remembered in their second main phase. Okay. They discard Subtlety, Teferi, Preordain. I will cast a Preordain. I don't get to draw a card because of the Narset, but at least I get to Sculpt. And I think both of these should go on the bottom. Pass the turn. They go to 12. They plus Teferi again. They main phase a Subtlety. Sure. They're at 12. Desperate Ritual. So I have to assume that they have Leyline Binding plus Counterspell available. I'm going to choose to pass and discard this Pact Negation. Because it doesn't count for Storm, it's pretty useless to me. And they're going to choose to only lose 1 life to the ring. They did not activate it on the end step. Okay, we go to 12. Another Narset. They draw cards with the ring this time. And now they're passing. So this is our opportunity to try to win this game right now. Basically, we're going to get them to counterspell or interact with Pyromancer Swaths, and then Grapeshot them and hope that the ring deals the last few points of damage. Or we could just draw another Grapeshot. Alright, Pyretic Ritual. So one of the keys here is not to splice, because if you splice, it gives them a juicy counterspell target. We don't want to do that. So I currently have 12 mana. Let's play the Manamorphose for Storm. Play a Pyromancer Swath. They counterspell. I'll play another one. Storm is 7. Okay, so they're just dead then. Grapeshot Storm 9. And then Grapeshot Storm 10. Sweet. I love that. Alright, well we got our first match win. We're 1-1, 3 matches left to go. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Token Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $14.99. This combo token pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens. That includes our classic Storm and Mana tokens, as well as fan favorites such as Goblins, Squirrels, and Slime Time Live. But that's not all. We've expanded this token pack to cover a variety of formats with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. Okay, the third match we're on the play. Keep. This is a good one. We're going to lead on the Polluted Delta. We have cards in our hand that put cards on the bottom, so we might as well. And then let's preordain. I think we keep both of these. Like, even in the spot here where I kept Expressive Iteration, I would rather it just be a 1-mana cantrip, because I could play both it and Sleight of Hand to set up a potential turn 3 win. I think this deck is a touch bit slow, and having cards that you're allowed to play on curve really help. I probably shouldn't have played this land, because I don't know if I can play a spell off the Steam Vents, and I could have played this tapped. We will take the Heretic Ritual. Pass the turn. Yeah, because I could have played the Steam Vents tapped here. They suspend a Profane Tutor. Okay. I mean, our hand is looking very good. We just have to find a Grapeshot. Dual Strike to hand. Scalding Turn on bottom. Scalding Turn we can play. Let's play it. Pass the turn. Profane Tutor loses a Suspend counter. Demolition Field, okay. They destroy my Steam Vents. But this is going to shuffle our deck. Might as well grab the Mountain. They suspend another Profane Tutor. We'll grab another Steam Vents. Grapeshot off the top. Let's see it. Come on, deck. Aggressive Iteration. Well, there's Grapeshot. And then Sleight of Hand, Sleight of Hand. We'll play a Sleight of Hand. Guess we'll take a Dual Strike. Play the Steam Vents. Ouch. And then we'll play Strike It Rich. Pass the turn. So our opponent now gets to search with Profane Tutor. They grab a Thoughtseize. So Pyromancer Swath is probably the card they're taking here. If not, it's Grapeshot. They chose Desperate Ritual. That's an odd choice. Okay. They play an Urborg. They have 3 mana. They suspend another Profane Tutor. Yeah, I don't know why they did that. We're going to start by casting Pyretic Ritual. And then we'll play a Dual Strike. And then we'll Dual Strike again. So now we'll get to Manamorphose 3 times here. Term is 4. Do red, 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 and blue, blue. Let's play the Pyromancer Swath. Lightning Bolt them. So they'll take 5. And then Grapeshot them for lethal. Yeah, I mean, our opponent could have taken one of the important cards and just didn't. So I feel like we got away with one there. We probably want these ley lines. Goodbye, Lightning Bolt. Game number 2, we're on the draw. Our opponent is kept. This hand isn't really that good. I'm going to mulligan. This hand seems great. We'll keep and put the Dual Strike on the bottom. Leyline of Sanctity. I think I'd almost like another Past in Flames in this deck as well. Play the Steam Vents. Pass the turn. Dothy Voidwalker. And here I said I'd like another Past in Flames. What do I know? Clearly I am a clown. We will fetch. Suspend or Foretell Dual Strike. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you don't want the Past in Flames. They chose not to attack. That's interesting. Blow up mana. We'll just play another Steam Vents. Pass the turn. This time they choose to attack. I'll go to 16. Cabal Coffers, okay. Another land. Send it back. Alright, so they have a ton of mana now. Cabal Coffers means that they can make 7 mana using Cabal Coffers. But so Cabal Coffers plus their 2 lands is 7 mana. They can generate 7, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And we're just flooding on lands here. I need spells. Our opponent suspends a Profane Tutor. We fall to 10 life. There's a Grapeshot. So now what I need to find is the Pyromancer Swath. Profane Tutor loses a counter. They play a Swamp. We'll lose 3. So Profane Tutor comes off Suspend next turn. So I'm incentivized to try to win here. I don't know if we're going to, but I'm incentivized to. Let's Pyretic Ritual. And then we will Dual Strike. Manamorphose. This will copy. Looks like they're going to flash in an Orcish Bowmasters here. But that ultimately doesn't matter that much, because I have the Leyline of Sanctity in play. So it's fine. Plus they increase my Storm. They're going to deal themselves 1. I'll make 2 red again. We hit the Swath. Wow. Running hot. Let's play another Dual Strike. And Manamorphose. We'll make red again. Then off this Manamorphose, we'll make blue. Cast a Pyretic Ritual. Play Strike It Rich. Strike It Rich. The Pyromancer Swath. And Grapeshot for Storm 11, 33 damage. And just like that, we are now 2-1, which realistically should be a 3-1. But I'm not very good at Magic, so you know, that one loss is my own fault. Not the end of the world, but we're just going to try to play tight and win the next 2 and finish this with a strong 4-1 finish. If you're still watching, make sure to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. While you're near the description, here's a reminder to use our affiliate links if you're going to make a purchase from Amazon, Card Hoarder, or TCG Player. Just above those affiliate links, you'll find our social channels. Make sure to join those to connect with us. Round number 4, we're on the draw, and I will keep. Double Grapeshot means that we could possibly win without Pyromancer Swath. Turn 1 Wooded Foothills, okay. Dual Strike. Let's play the Scalding Tarn and pass. They use the Wooded Foothills, going to 19. They pick up the Jund Triome. Bloodstained Mire, going to 18. Stomping Ground knocks them down to 16. They're helping us here. I do not care about Renin 6. They grab their land back. We will fetch. Grab that Steam Vents. On our turn, I'm likely going to foretell this Dual Strike. Pass the turn. They're putting themselves down to 15. We could maybe go for a turn 3 here. Seismic Assault. Okay, so we're both playing cards from the past. I like it. They pick up their land. We'll draw for turn. It's another sleight of hand. So if I want to use the Dual Strike, I have to go Pyretic Ritual, Dual Strike, Manamorphose up to 4 lands. Or 4 mana. I think that we can win this turn, even off of 2 lands. So I'm going to go for it. Pyretic Ritual. I will use the Dual Strike, Storm 2. And now let's Manamorphose. Red, red. Another Grapeshot, okay. And then blue, red. We did not hit an untapped land or ritual off any of those draws. That has me a little nervous here. So Storm 4, 5, 6. So that's 13 damage. I need to hit an untapped land or ritual off of sleight of hand. I hit the untapped land. Alright, so Strike It Rich. So this would be 6, 7. That's 13. So I could put them to 2. And then next turn come back with Spikefield Hazard plus Grapeshot. I mean, I don't like it, but that's the game plan. Grapeshot again. This puts them to 2 life. Okay. So next turn we have lethal. We just need our opponent not to do anything here that, you know, stops us from doing that. Our opponent fetches down to 1 life. They deal me 2 damage with Seismic Assault. Life from the loam. Yep, I saw that coming. So we know that they have at least 6 more damage in their hand. I mean, if they deal me 17, that's unfortunate, but I don't think we were supposed to sleight of hand and pray to hit a ritual. That seems a little risky to me. When we just guarantee have the win on our turn. Another life from the loam. Okay, so they'll put me to 3 here. So if they have 2 spare lands in their hand, I'm dead. Alright, you have 3 cards. You need 2 lands. Alright, 1 land. Oh, the Renin 6 activation. Wow, they got me. Holy moly, let's see what would have happened if I played sleight of hand. It's not going to let me draw the cards. Okay, wow. That was a close game. So you could board in Leyline of Sanctity. I think that's a trap. I'm just going to resubmit. Well, actually, we saw black. They probably have Thoughtseize. Yeah, let's take out the Lightning Bolts. Well, let's try to bounce back. I mean, that was a sweet game number 1. We just didn't happen to win it. Leyline of the Void does nothing. We'll lead on Island into Sleight of Hand. Definitely don't want this Leyline of Sanctity. Ragavan. Okay. Another Pyromancer Swath. I don't really like that. I have to deal myself some damage here. We will Spikefield Hazard the Ragavan. They just play a land and pass. We draw Leyline of Sanctity anyway. Okay. Play Polluted Delta. I think I'm going to just pass. They shock down to 15. End step Orcish Bowmasters. You could cycle the Manamorphose in response, but we're a deck trying to create a high storm count, so I'm going to sit on this. And now they have a dashed Ragavan. So we'll take 4 down to 12. They hit a Pyretic Ritual. Now they're fetching. They play the Pyretic Ritual. Are you going to Seismic Assault? They do. Okay, they have 2 cards left in their hand here. I will go to 11, grab another Steam Vents. You draw Island. So I can Manamorphose into Leyline of Sanctity, but I would take 1 damage off the Bowmaster and the Orc Army would get a little bit bigger. I mean, I just think our draw didn't come together this game. They attack for 2. They don't dash a Ragavan. I go to 9. They deal me 2. So they must have Life from the Loam here. Yep. So the Manamorphose would actually kill me with the Life from the Loam because I know that they have 3 lands in hand. And I drew another Manamorphose. So we are flat out dead here. Okay, well, Seismic Assault looked impressive, I have to say. We are now 2-2 with 1 match left to go. With Card Hoarder, renting your favorite combo deck has never been easier. There isn't a more affordable solution for Magic Online. Want to play the deck in this video? Check out the pinned comment below to easily rent the deck from Card Hoarder. Did you know you can rent the Epic Storm from Card Hoarder for as little as 7 tickets a week? We've made it simple to do so by including a button to rent the entire deck at theepicstorm.com/decklist. Hey everyone, Bryant here. We're going to watch a replay. So in the middle of game number 2 of this match, my computer crashed due to a memory leak issue. I've addressed that in the next game as well when I was live, but now we're watching a recap. And, you know, it happens, you know, no need to, you know, freak out or anything. We're just going to watch this via replay. So I end up keeping a pretty reasonable hand. We have 2 cantrips to find our second land. And I end up leading on the Preordain because I'm worried about Orcish Bowmasters, and Sleight of Hand is actually really effective against Bowmasters. I bottomed the 2 rituals looking for land number 2, but I don't find it. So they're going to fetch here, and then they're going to play a Wrenn and 6. And now it's up to me to find land number 2 here. So I'm going to untap. I don't draw the land, unfortunately. And then we end up casting a Sleight of Hand, which finds Spikefield Hazard. We play the Spikefield Hazard. And now our opponent's going to fetch. They go down to 13 and they play a Teferi Time Raveler. They're actually really close to just being dead. So even without the Pyromancer Swath. So I draw, it's another Grapeshot. We didn't need one of those. I Sleight of Hand, we take the Spikefield Hazard, and I bolt them. Because I don't have enough mana to do everything in 1 turn. And by playing the Lightning Bolt, it reduces the amount of mana I need in 1 turn to win the game. So they're at 10. We have a Lightning Bolt plus Grapeshot. Like, we have a lot going on for us. And you could try to win here, but our opponent has a bunch of open mana. So I Expressive Iteration, and it's kind of stinky. Like, this Dual Strike doesn't do anything. And I ended up putting the Swath on the bottom of our deck, because why show our opponent Pyromancer Swath? They're a deck that has Leyline Binding in it. Don't give them that information. And now they show us that they're actually Creativity, which I didn't realize up until this point. They discard, and now I decide, you know, I should try to go for it. So I Manamorphose. They don't Reprieve, which I'm very thankful for. I Manamorphose again. Once again, no Reprieve. We draw the land, which was perfect, and now I can actually kill them through Reprieve. So I'm going to Grapeshot them for 6, and, you know, Reprieve doesn't save them, and we win the first game of this match. Now you're about to see me live. Hey everyone, so obviously when you're watching this it's going to be in a different order, but Magic Online has a memory leak issue and it caused my computer to freeze. And I lost the first game of this round and the first 2 turns of this round, or this game I should say. So I played 2 Sleight of Hands, our opponent played a Wrenn into Teferi. We are now on turn 3 and I am likely going to attempt to win here. Our opponent's at 15, will fetch. And you'll notice I no longer have a sidebar behind me because that is loaded from my hard drive. And when the computer crashed, my hard drive decided not to reconnect immediately. So it's unfortunate, but the nature of the beast. I will get everything sorted out, but for now, I kind of just need to finish this game before anything else. So that's what I'm going to do. We will cast Grapeshot targeting them, sacrifice the treasure, and Storm 5 lethal. Boom. Sweet. Alright, so Milan, thank you for today's donation deck. Once again, we ended up with a positive record. It should have been a 4-1. I misplayed in match number 1 and it cost us. But I think your idea here is really solid. Not needing creatures was really, really good. I think that the 16 lands was a little bit better than I imagined. We didn't really get stuck too often, and that impressed me. So what do I think? Expressive Iteration and Dual Strike are the only cards I really think are a little questionable. I actually like the 3-1 split on Pyromancer, Swath, and Past in Flames. I wouldn't change those. But in these slots, I think there's something to be said for playing other cards like Consider or something else. I would play Consider over Expressive Iteration. If you want to leave Dual Strike, I think that's very reasonable. But I wonder if there's just something better we could be playing. That's all. It's not that Dual Strike's bad, but I do think it's a little bit underwhelming. But overall, I really enjoyed the deck. So those are my thoughts. We didn't use most of the sideboard. It was really just Blood Moon and Leyline. In the one matchup where I sided Pact to Negation, I didn't want it. So I'm not really sure what to think there. So Echoing Truth and Void Snare, I don't know what these are actually for. Because we're not a graveyard deck, so you don't care about, like, Leyline of the Void. So if these are for something like Chalice of the Void, they should be Shattering Sprees. That's at least my thought process. Archon of Emeria exists, but we have 4 main deck Lightning Bolt. I'm just trying to figure out why you would want these cards, really. But the deck was sweet. Pyromancer Swath was so much better than I imagined it would be. Yeah, that's what I've got. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, like, comment, subscribe. Once again, thank you to Milan. Have a great day. And I'm sorry my computer crashed. Sometimes technical issues happen. Have a great day. See ya. Keep storming, all that good stuff. Hey, thanks for watching today's video. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And after you do that, click that join button. It contains all of our membership information, such as access to our members exclusive Discord, members exclusive videos, and the best perk in my opinion, you can watch all of our videos early, 1 to 2 weeks in advance. That way you're always up to date on the latest and greatest content.